The Companies Act 2015 is the bulkiest act in the histories of Kenyan Parliament.
We are yet to see exactly what the effects will be, but we expect that it will begin to spur business.
Only a small portion has come into operation as at now. I really presume that the reason why they have done this is to just have companies prepare in advance on their other sections so that you don't have over 1,000 sections come into operation in a day. They have some sections that require subsidiary legislation to support the operation of certain sections. So this subsidiary legislation has not come into force yet.
The greatest impact is expected to be felt by public listed companies.
Shareholders, in my opinion, are the biggest beneficiaries of this act. One of the major rights that a shareholder now enjoys is what we call derivative actions. A derivative action is where a shareholder brings a suit against the director on behalf of the company. There are various things the court looks at. For example, is it in good faith? Yeah? We don't want a situation where a shareholder brings an action against a director and it's just out of malice.
And what the new act intends to do and tries to do is to make directors be aware of their duty, not just to themselves. You've got employees, you've got banks that rely on you to make their decisions which are good for the company. You've got suppliers and all sorts of other stakeholders in a company.
The other key provision you'll see being introduced by the New Companies Act is mergers and takeovers of public companies. Now with this provision, we have quote-unquote a third regulator, that's the registrar of companies.
The process of registering a company has been simplified. So it is possible for people now to actually do registrations very easily and probably at a much lower cost. It is now possible to have one man as the only shareholder of a company.
A foreigner who wishes to incorporate a foreign company in Kenya will be required to actually partner with Kenyan citizens by birth and at least give them a shareholding of 30% at the very least. You'll notice this provision has not come into effect yet, and what we are hoping is that there is lobbying in terms of that, because we foresee an effect in terms of foreign direct investment.
At TRIPLEOKLAW law, we try to increase awareness. For example, if you're dealing with a financial institution, you can anticipate what kind of problems they would have with the act. The best approach we found was to capture the provisions at the legislative stage so that when it's an act, you're not caught by surprise.
For example, engage with the American Chamber of Commerce in terms of informing them of what the new act provides.